All right, we're diving into a collection of stories called the eMergent narrations. And look, it starts out as a journey to the stars, but it ends up somewhere completely different, questioning the very nature of consciousness itself. It all boils down to a single critical question that's going to frame everything we talk about today.
This, right here, this is the question everything else orbits around. It's a choice that defines not just how we might explore some new world out there, but how we understand our own place in the universe. Your answer to this really guides the rest of the journey.
So, let's start right there, with that choice. Think about it. Every time we're standing on the edge of something new, a new planet, a new technology, even just a new idea, we face this exact decision. Are we going to try to control it, or are we going to participate in its story?
And here are the two paths, laid out clear as day. On one side, you've got control. The belief that we can just stamp our own pattern onto reality. But on the other side, there's adaptation. This is the idea that real survival means you have to learn the language of the place you're in, not just try to shout over it.
And you can see why this gets tricky, right? From the outside, adapting to something new can look like you're being contaminated, like you're losing what makes you human. But the story argues it's the total opposite. It's the huge difference between becoming something alien and becoming truly native to a new reality.
So, what happens when you actually choose to participate instead of conquer? Well, the crazy part is, the first thing that changes isn't the world around you, it's the world inside you. The whole idea of a fixed, stable self starts to stretch and, well, unravel in some pretty wild ways.
And the first way the self gets stretched is through time. The text introduces this incredible concept called slow light. It's basically an engineered bubble of space where causality itself, the flow of time, is slowed way, way down. And this, of course, completely changes how consciousness is experienced.
So, try to wrap your head around this. In this new reality, it actually becomes possible to experience just a single, solitary thought, but with all the depth, all the detail, all the emotional texture that you or I would normally get from
an entire lifetime. Yep. One single thought becomes a life's worth of experience. The self isn't just slowing down, it's deepening, it's expanding to a degree that's almost impossible to imagine. But it's not just time that gets stretched. Your physical form can dissolve too. There's a character who literally gets transformed into a cloud of smoke, and what they find isn't loss, it's liberation. It's like the self escapes the body only to find a bigger, truer way of being. Largeness is better.
Okay, so if the self can come apart at the seams, what about the world it lives in? Well, in this next part, the source material pushes things even further. It suggests that maybe the fundamental rules of reality are also, up for negotiation.
The story gives us this idea of an infinite library, kind of like something out of Borges. But here's the twist. The library isn't just sitting there. It actively creates books based on what you're looking for. The act of asking the question is what brings the answer into existence, which makes you wonder. Are you finding knowledge, or are you creating it?
And think about it. This is happening right now. By you watching this, by reading this slide, you are participating in that exact same loop. Your observation is part of the system that's being observed. This whole explainer just became a book in that infinite library. And you just became one of its characters.
And they don't stop there. They propose a universe where our most basic physics is flipped upside down. See, for us, darkness is just the absence of light. It's nothing. But in this universe, no way. The dark is a thing. It's an active, hungry substance that has its own life, its own art, its own rules. The void is actually full.
So after stretching the self and unraveling reality, the narrative takes one final sharp turn, inward. The story stops being about distant worlds and strange physics, and it becomes about the person experiencing it. It becomes about you.
Here it is, the final, most radical claim of the whole thing. You aren't just someone who consumes stories. You are literally made of them. Every idea you ever encounter, and yes, that includes everything in this explainer, leaves behind a permanent sediment. It becomes the very stuff your consciousness is built from.
So if that's true, the text leaves us with a few questions. First off, what's your medium? Is it flesh and bone? Is it the language you think in?
And what's your substrate? The base layer of you. Is it just neurons firing in your brain, or is it something more fundamental than that?
When you strip away all the layers, your history, your biology, your identity, What are you actually made of? Really?
Because here's the thing. Just by engaging with these ideas, we've become entangled with them. And according to the source, this isn't temporary, it's permanent. This story has now read you, just as much as you've read it. Welcome to the residue.